What is up? It's Markel, and today I want to talk about scholarships. Scholarships are the most important thing that accompany applying to colleges. I was so fortunate, so blessed to be able to get a full ride to college, not from like a singular scholarship, but from a cumulative effort of a bunch of different scholarships that I applied for. And I always wanted to share my insight, I always wanted to share my method when I was a high school senior and all the way through college of how I applied to scholarships. So today we're gonna just talk about scholarships. So let's get to it. I just wanna talk about first what a scholarship is. So some people think that a scholarship is free money, or a scholarship is a donation, or a scholarship is a waste of time because who gets those? Well, that's not true. Scholarship, as I define it, is an investment that someone sees in you to be able to contribute to the world at a later time. So it's not that it's just like free money. It's not that it's a donation. Well, it kind of is, but it's more than that. It's an investment. So a private donor, a organization or school or company will invest in an individual that they see could provide change or make an impact in the future. That's how I think about a scholarship. So with that definition of a scholarship, let's go through how using that mindset to apply to scholarships. So what's cool is I actually found all of my old scholarship applications, all of my documents and everything. So I'm gonna go through that and just provide some tips, insight as we go along. So looking at this, the first thing I have is just finding scholarships. There's a plethora of resources out there to find scholarships. I recommend Googling it, and check out my last video where I talk about one of the most important lessons that I've ever learned, which is Google it. The internet is so full of knowledge, full of resources. A lot of times I don't think we really take advantage of everything that it has to offer, but at the same time, it's pretty hard to navigate. So check out that video. So when you're trying to find scholarships, I've listed a bunch of different scholarship websites or platforms that I've used or I've just recently discovered, including FastWeb, Scholly, scholarships.com, and all those different platforms will be able to give you insight and knowledge on the different scholarship applications that you may qualify for. Another thing that I wanted to say was type in any company that you can think of scholarship. For example, Google Scholarship, Shell Scholarship, GM Scholarship, just any company scholarship, and I'm sure you're gonna find something. Well, at least I hope so, right? So speaking of qualification, the next thing is to understand the different types of scholarships. So from what I've seen, there seems to be two major types of scholarships, need-based and merit-based. Need-based is based on your FAFSA information where it says that you come from a background where it would be difficult for your family to be able to pay for your college, as opposed to a merit-based, which essentially says that based on your abilities that you've demonstrated purely, we will give you an award or a scholarship. Then you have other types of scholarships, like I've listed the different types here. So I have lottery scholarship, which I consider any scholarship that requires little to no effort to apply for. So if you ever go online and it's like, just sign up. If you're 18 or older, just sign up for the scholarship. All we need is your name, email address, and you are entered into the chance to win a $500 scholarship. That is literally a lottery scholarship. It's not a formal process, and anybody can apply, so it's really just the luck of the draw, purely in that sense. Next, you have university-based scholarships. University-based scholarships are those provided by the school, and a lot of times schools don't publicly announce or share that type of information. And so what I recommend here is you have to pry. If there's a professor or if there's an email address that you can find on the school's website or the college's website that you're interested in attending, hunt them down. I mean, that's the biggest thing that's gonna separate you from the rest of the pack. And a lot of times people aren't hungry enough to find those scholarships or to reach out. The next type of scholarship that I'll name is a demographic specific. So for example, I'm a black guy from a low income background from the Midwest. So I could literally just type all of those criteria in and see what type of scholarships are available for me, for someone like me. And that's one way to think about it as well. So if you're going into like engineering, which is what I did, I looked up engineering scholarships or Black engineering scholarships. So trying all those different combinations is going to be really helpful as well. All right, so now you have a bunch of different scholarships that you are qualified for, and you've listed them out, and hopefully you've written it down like in an Excel document or something more formal. And what I really recommend here is to create an Excel spreadsheet. An Excel spreadsheet will provide the organization that you need to be able to sift through and prioritize applying for these different scholarships. When I was in college, and actually high school, what I ended up doing was I organized an Excel spreadsheet that had the scholarship name, the application type, the amount of the scholarship, a contact info for an individual for that scholarship, the due date, a link to the actual scholarship. I noted the status, and then I provided different details as far as what types of information was needed. So if I needed a personal letter of recommendation, if I needed a transcript, if I needed, I don't know, a personal statement, things like that. So I organized it this way so I could see what I needed to do for each scholarship. All right, so that's the next thing. You've organized your scholarships, and it's probably pretty overwhelming. And that's I want to pause here. And so one thing you'll notice is that like if you like select all of the scholarships potential award amount, and you just take the sum of that, that's going to be a huge number. The bigger the number, the better. For me, when I was a senior in high school, I applied to over $400,000 worth of scholarships. And the way I thought about it was a success rate greater than 0 would be beneficial, right? I just needed contributions to my education. I didn't think that I was going to get $400,000 worth of scholarships in a single year, let alone like the entire time in college. But I figured, why not apply to all of these and increase my odds? So what ended up happening was I was able to receive about 3 to 5% of those scholarships that I applied for, which was enough for a full ride. So another thing that I want to note here and reiterate is apply to as many scholarships as you can, because it only increases the odds of success. So once you have all of this detailed in your Excel spreadsheet, one thing that you may notice is that there's some really key dates like 11/15, 12/1, or 1/15, or 2/1. And those are very, very critical dates that I just noticed for both college applications and scholarship applications. And I try to prioritize all of my applications in those different phases. And so just be cognizant and aware of those different times as you progress in applying to all these scholarships. All right, and then what's funny is once you've listed all of this information out for all of these different scholarships, you'll notice that they are very, very similar. They tend to provide or request a personal statement, and is typically something along the lines of what are you trying to achieve, or what is your goal in college, or why are you choosing what major you're choosing, or what is something that you want to see changed in the world. And basically what they're trying to do is see how passionate you are about attaining your education in order to provide change to the world. So think about it. If you're an investor, you want to invest in something or someone or an organization, whatever, that is actually trying to make a difference in that realm, that actually is trying to make an impact. So your investment can go pretty far. You don't want to just like throw away money. And I'm not saying that people do that, but people do that, right? So think about it that way. If you were the one investing, what would you want to see? So just remember that you're someone who's very capable and able to provide that change, and try to convey that to the best of your ability to the committee or the organization for the scholarships. So the next thing is to get strategic. And what I mean by that is, again, as we look at this Excel spreadsheet, we see all this different information. Now we can say, okay, I need X letter of recommendation letters. I need to write these 5 different prompts, and you be able to organize them and find methods to expedite the process of applying to each one of these scholarships. For example, one thing that I did was for my letters of recommendation, instead of requesting a bunch of different people to write me letters of recommendation with like no other knowledge. What I did was I created a template, or I kind of started off the letter of recommendation from their vantage point of how they may see me. And then I just asked them to fill it in, or, just sign it, depending on who it was. And then I had all of those documents, and I had their sign off on it. And then I was able to change key information where I could personalize each scholarship and say, like, dear this committee, or dear this university, or whoever. And it was the same letter, it was just rephrased, or I did a search and replace for like scholarship name here or organization name here. And it made it a lot easier to apply to a bunch of different scholarships at once. Remember, you are an investment. You're not a donation. You're not trying to get free money, but you are an investment. So make sure you think of yourself as an asset already, and you demonstrate to the world what you're capable of and the contributions you're going to be able to make once you attain a little bit more education, a little bit more insight, right? Be mindful of all of these deadlines. November, December, January are really crunch time for application deadlines. The sooner you start, the better shape you'll be when it comes to being able to apply to scholarships if you find them last minute, All right, so that's all I got. I hope you found this useful. Truly hope you found this useful. This is something that I've always wanted to share with people, with younger people, rising seniors, college students. It's so valuable and applicable to so many different ages. If you're in high school, this is dope that you're watching this now. If you're in college, it's still not too late to apply to scholarships. Actually, I didn't get the majority of my scholarships until after my freshman year. And that was just because I kept applying to scholarships, because none of mine were 4-year or renewable scholarships. They were something that I had to apply to every single year. And so that grind was kind of necessary for me. So if you're in college now and you don't have a scholarship, or you don't have enough scholarships, it's not too late. Sometimes they even have scholarships that aren't available until you're in college. So do not give up on getting scholarships. And if you don't think you can get a full ride, still keep trying, because anything helps. I'm telling you. If you guys need anything else, let me know. Comment below, subscribe to the channel, like this video if you found it useful, share it with someone. If you're a high school student, don't be grimy and like try to hoard your information. Just share it. Everyone will appreciate this, So subscribe to the channel, more videos like this to come. Let me know what else you guys want to see from me. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.